buffs and welcome to this week's Movie Talkies Weekend Show. I'm your host Pankri and I'm going to take you through the films which released this week. This week saw the release of much-awaited Cocktail, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter and The Intouchables. So grab your popcorns and soda while we give you a verdict on these movies. Homi Adjania's Cocktail, which revolves around the themes of love and friendship, released this week. Starring Saif Ali Khan, Deepika Padukone and Diana Penty, the story is about how equations change between three friends when Khan's character Gautam falls in love with Diana's character Meera despite being in a physical relationship with Veronica, who's played by Deepika Padukone. Saif Ali plays the same kind of character that he's played in films like Dil Chahta Hai and Love Aajkal and ends up bringing nothing new to the table as such. Diana might have fresh beauty, but she sure needs to brush up on her acting skills. However, it is Deepika Padukone as the glamorous Veronica who steals the limelight. Padukone, who mostly has a girl-next-door image in her films, shines in a never-seen-before avatar in Cocktail, and fans of Deepika are sure to fall in love with her all over again. The film also stars Baman Irani and Dimple Kapadia, and whereas the former is as flawless as ever, the latter is quite endearing in her character as the loud Punjabi mother. Though the story is quite predictable and stereotypical, Adjania and his team deserve full marks for technical details like cinematography, costume styles and art direction. Cocktail has a fresh, vibrant and colourful look which is sure to connect with the urban youth. The music too is decent enough, especially the Tumiyo Bandhu song, which will make you tap your feet and hum along in appreciation. All in all, we give Cocktail a rating of 2.5 stars. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunters was much awaited among fans of vampire films, so let us know more about the movie. A young Abraham Lincoln, played by Lux Hani Jardine, witnesses his mother being killed by a vampire, Jack Bartz, that is Martin Sokus. Considering himself to be guilty for his mother's death, Abraham vouches to take revenge. A decade later, he tries to eliminate Bartz, but in vain. He goes on to learn the tricks of killing vampires from Henry Sturgis, played by Dominic Cooper. Abe moves to Springfield, where he's on the job in the days and on the hunt for vampires during the nights. He leaves doing this once he kills his mother's murderer and ends up marrying the beautiful Mary Todd. Thus begins the journey to become the President of the United States of America. However, the vampires come back into his life. The onus is on the 16th President of the United States of America, Abraham Lincoln, to battle against vampires to save his family and his country. Performances were decent. Benjamin Walker, who plays the older Abraham Lincoln, shows his mettle as a fine actor. However, it gets too annoying after a while. He puts in an intense performance in the first half, however, it does dwindle a bit towards the end. Dominic Cooper's role is one-dimensional, leaving the devil's double star with nothing much to do in the film. The women in the film are almost lamppost. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Lincoln's wife, could have done so much more with her character. The performances were impressive, however they are terribly let down by the disappointing writing. Based on the 2010 novel of the same name by Seth Graham Smith, the film is directed by Timur Bek Membetov. Seth Graham Smith, who also wrote Tim Burton's Dark Shadows, fails to derive the greatness of Lincoln. He even does grave injustice to the genre of vampire films. The background music of the film by Henry Jackman was brilliant. The CGI was breathtaking and even the 3D effects were better in comparison in some of the recent fare that is being meted out. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is an utterly annoying film. Although the visuals were impressive, the storytelling fails to deliver. We give it 1.5 stars. Based on the book You Changed My Life by Abdel Silouf, French film The Intouchables is an uplifting comedy about human bonding, trust and hope. It is about the friendship between a handicapped millionaire Philippe, played by François Cluzet, and his caretaker Driss, played by Omar Sy. It begins with a false start. Driss finds it difficult to adapt to this new routine where he has to literally babysit his master. Subsequently, he gets closer to Philippe, hence developing a close friendship. There are a lot of funny moments in this film. Embedded within them are some harsh realities that exist in any human society. During its closing moments, the film fills the viewer with a lot of hope and goodness. Both the actors deliver flawless performances. The writing was the most interesting aspect in the film. No emotional outbursts, unnecessary tears or pointless melodrama. This film was purely about relationship between a master and his caretaker. Since this French film was dubbed in English and not subtitled, it would not be possible to comment on the dialogue delivery of the artistes. However, the dubbing is neatly done. A simple plot about complex relationships along with an enthralling score and brilliant performances make The Intouchables a must-watch. We give it a rating of 3.5 stars. So that's all we have for you this week. We'll come back with some more fresh reviews next weekend. Till then, do write to us in the comments below, subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, this is me, Pankri, signing off.